You're supposed to dance into the music like you hear it. Hey everybody, welcome to In the Zone. I'm your host TK for the night, and I've got two champions with me here tonight. Two one-time champions. I'm welcoming last year's champ, the big guy, Mr. Dean Molberg of the Colwood Rangers. Dino, how you doing tonight?
Excellent. Really happy to be here, and lots to discuss with all the trades this week.
There was some big ones. Big names.
Ryan kind of stole the show this week.
He did indeed, and he's still going. And also joining us,
he went over too.
Well, that's true. And also joining us this week is also a former winner. Are you guys the last two, or no? Renee was in between you two, right?
No. Me and then the COVID.
And COVID. All right. Okay. So there we go. The two most current. The only part I can join you guys with is all three of us went 2-0 this week. That's the only thing I have in common with any of you.
You know what? Your team's underrated, TK. You're just a little banged up.
I'm a little banged up, and you never
determined that weeks ago.
Yeah, you never know. There might be a breaking trade right on this show tonight. So TK.
And I heard Kucherov is back on the ice.
Yeah. And Spurgeon's getting ready to go again. So yeah. I'm hoping, I'm doing what you did, Dean. I'm just trying to hang around like while I was doing that tough part, and to go 2-0 this week was unbelievable. It was just a huge victory for me. And so if I can just hang around for another, 2-3 more weeks, I think I'll be okay, but I got to stick around.
Yeah, stick around and then make a couple moves. You're going to have to create a little depth on your bench.
A little bit. Yeah, for sure. I'm just kind of waiting to see how everything pans out here, to see if I can stick around and whatnot like that. So, yeah. What about you, Keith? How was your week?
That's pretty good. It's Christmas time, getting ready to pack things up and move, and just watching lots of hockey and football.
Yeah. Also a good week for you in the no control zone. So anyway, this week,
surprisingly.
Yeah, well, you never know, right? Like there was a few surprise scores out there this week. So anyway, we're going to start with the Bossy division this week, since we started with Langway last week. And the man who's been on top ever since the season started is the Harrison Lakers, sitting at 14-1-1 for 29 points. And they had a very easy week. The Lakers beat the Capitals 6-1, and they also beat the Highlanders 7-0. They didn't really have any competition going there. Keith?
I think the moneymaker there just needed to send his team out there for the first two periods, and the game was over.
What do you think, Dean?
Yeah, Renee's a juggernaut this year for sure. I actually took a closer look at his team this week. He just doesn't have any holes.
Well, you know why, right?
Well, because I gave him a whole bunch of players in the beginning of the year. but the trade worked out well for me too.
You and Nick.
I guess. Like, no complaining. How can you complain when you're doing what you're doing? And like when I analyzed that last week, that you walked away with a third overall pick from this year's draft, how that is even possible, I don't know. I just kept going like, fuck, the guy had no picks. And then before the draft, all of a sudden his draft board was filled with all picks. And then he walks away with the third overall pick. I go, how do you win the cup and do that? You got to start spilling some tea on these things here, man. Help us out. Help a brother out.
There was a lot of stick handling in the offseason for sure. But really want to know what the key was. I heard you guys talk. I was listening to your podcast last week. Really, the key for me actually contending this year is I had a good draft.
Yeah, that always helps.
Eichel, Kopitar, Larkin's doing well. Picked up Dumbo. You know, I was able to flip Eichel into Pasternak now, but really, if I didn't have a good draft, I'd still be rebuilding. But I was fortunate to have a really good draft.
Yeah, I had that happen to myself one year. I got really surprised that there's so many good people left at spots that I wasn't expecting them, and just had a really good draft. And that can make a
I
big
think
difference.
sometimes what happens, teams draft for needs more so than best player.
Yeah.
And I think we all know that. I know that we have the needs that we have to fulfill, but when you're getting in the first 5 rounds, you take the best player, period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No matter what, no
Yeah.
matter the position.
That's pretty much the same philosophy in the NHL.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
You know, like if you've got good goaltending, then work on your defense. If you've got good defense, then work on your forwards at that time.
Yeah, makes
It's
sense.
cyclical, but that's just how fantasy works, the way that it is.
Oh, fantasy is a weird and wonderful sport. That's for sure, man. And you see the weirdest things happen in fantasy hockey. Did you see that last week, Dean, when Keith got 3 empty net points from Toffoli?
I know.
Are you kidding me?
Fucking Karma come back and got me though.
Yeah,
Now
I
he's
did.
out for fucking 6 weeks.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, he's out.
Oh,
He's
that is
already on the
fantasy.
IR.
Well,
yeah.
You're not going to
But
get any pity from me.
It didn't matter anyway, Terry, because that 1 week you actually beat me.
Yeah.
You had 1 more point than I did.
That is true. And that's all you need.
Yeah.
Right? 1 more
Yeah.
point. Anyway, in second place in the Bossy, and they've been there all year too, but they're starting to lose a little bit of ground on the Harrison Lakers. They were hanging with them early in the season, but the East Coast Brewers are now 11-5-0 for 22 points. And the Brewers, they got for me anyway, it was a surprise loss. They lost Flying Colors 4-3 this week, and they easily beat the Outlaws 6-1. Dean?
Yeah, you know what? The East Coast Brewers, looking at their lineup, they've got a pretty strong team. They need a little help on their defense, so I think he needs to shore up that defense just a little bit. But he's got a good team on paper. His goaltending, Jerry's been good this year. Hart's been obviously with the Flyers have been hit and miss a little bit, but he's also got Calvin Peterson there as a third goalie, so he's got good depth. And I like his team. Any week he can upset anybody. He's got a strong squad, especially on his forward lines.
I think Carter Hart is getting dangerously close to a bust.
Yeah, he did not look very good last night.
He hasn't looked. He looked like he did last year, and he has looked like that for the last 2-3 weeks now. So he was hotter than hell when him and Jerry were going.
Yeah, maybe a lot of that with Carter Hart too is that maybe he doesn't get along with Vigneault, right?
Oh, I didn't know that
because he didn't start sucking until Vigneault came along.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, think about it. Maybe Vigneault rides him the way that he's not used to being ridden and whatever. And, you're touted to be this,
Either that or Philadelphia sucks.
Well, the pedigree that these guys come up with has got to be pretty hard when you got your coach right off the bat, probably braiding you because you've taken another fucking loss, right?
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. I'm sold on him.
Well, you are sold on him?
Oh, absolutely. I think that there's a bounce back for him.
I like Hart too. Obviously, his confidence is in the toilet right now, but I actually like Hart when he's playing a game well. He plays a nice, quiet game. I think he'll turn it around.
Yeah, I saw him so much in junior that I was like, "Fuck, this guy's gonna be a fucking star." And sure as shit, next thing you know, he's junior gold. And
the problem though with a goaltender like Hart in fantasy hockey, it can be an absolute killer. Like if he goes into the shitter at the wrong time, which he pretty
there's lots of replacements.
He pretty much has done that more than he's played well. So he's getting into that territory where he needs to start picking it up. I kind of almost look at him at comparable to like a Jack Campbell, who was highly touted, never could get any traction in the NHL, and then now he's finally got it, right?
Yeah.
in
Well, he
different
probably got in
ways.
with, he got in with a team and a coach that he probably likes, you know, going from LA to Toronto and, you know, coming up with a pretty stellar season last year out of nowhere, really, as you
Yeah.
said last week.
Yeah.
And, you know, like it's, these guys, like I said, their pedigree will come in, and Carter Hart is probably on the same level. You know, he's struggling right now. He's still a kid, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
And
It's
you're
a lot
right, Keith. You're right, Keith. Vigneault's not. Vigneault's been known to be a bit of a goalie killer. He's not.
Yeah.
He's not. He'll yank them pretty quick. He rides them hard too. It's yeah, maybe he's just not a good fit there with Carter Hart.
Yeah. Well, you know that because him being with the Rangers, and I know it from him being with the Canucks. And you know,
I actually
even
didn't
when he
know
was in
that.
Montreal, he was a fucking tough guy on his goalies.
Huh.
Yeah, he's always been tough on the goalie.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not. If whoever has Carter Hart or ECB, I'm coming calling next year. He's trying to compete this year. Can't go calling yet.
Well, I know Dono loves Hart, but man, like it's like man, when he goes bad, he goes bad. Like
Well,
we're talking like 826 save percentage games and stuff like that. It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's risky.
He had a complete meltdown last night. And I think it was the second period there. He just absolutely blew up.
Well, Philly gave up 7 goals tonight.
Yeah, but that was Jones.
Yeah, I know, but how many did they give up last night? 6?
Yeah, 6 or 7.
6 or 7.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of it's to do with
Can
the
you put
team as
that really
well.
on a goalie? Can you really put that on a goalie if it's back to back?
Oh no, I don't think so.
Right. So
No.
is it really the
No.
problem? I think it might be the system not matching for the players.
Yeah, it's possible.
You know, it's like Edmonton. You know, they fucking lose the Kraken the other night, and then they go into Anaheim, and then they got fucking thumped.
Yeah.
You know, like those should be 2 wins essentially for the Oilers, right?
Yeah. You just never know.
Yeah.
In the NHL, the parity is so close that
Have you not noticed how quiet McDavid and Draisaitl have gone?
I know. And boy, did that ever make a difference in Ryan's game.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, fucking Draisaitl doesn't get any points, and boom, down he goes. But sitting in third place is still pitter patter in the playoff spot. They're 8-7-1 for 17 points, but they had a really interesting week. They had one big win and they had one really big loss. So they went 1-1 for the week. Their big win, of course, was beating Bruin up some suds. So the first place team from the Langway division, that would make Dean very happy to see Pitter Patter taking down the Bruins. And then Pitter Patter's being chased from behind by the Islanders, and they dropped that decision 5-1. So they had one really good game and one bad one. They really wanted to win that one again. If they could switch, I'm sure they'd take the win over the Islanders instead of the Bruins.
Yeah, I think so too.
1-1's still good. It keeps them in it.
Yeah, especially when you're playing the Bruins, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, he's definitely in there. I'm interested to see what happens after the fallout of all these trades, how these teams look. And that's the one thing that Fancy can't figure out is like it's like some teams are almost like a brand new team with some of these heavy trades, right?
Yeah.
It's like
or injuries, right? Like look at last year. I'm sure my fantasy stats weren't that great because I had so many players out, but kind of the second half that started to change.
Yeah. So anyway, I'll tell you, Steve, he pretty much had the lead on me the entire week, and I caught him right at the end. So he had a good week. If he keeps that up, it's he's going to be up there fighting for a playoff position for sure.
And pitter patter.
Well, I think that the only race there really is the third and a possible wild card in that division.
Well, the wild card's not so possible anymore, or is pretty possible now. It's only a 2-point difference.
That's what I'm saying. That's the only thing that's, yeah, Renee should walk away with one, and
But it's not a wild card spot. It's the fourth spot. Like if you get ahead of that fifth place team, it's the fourth place spot. It's not really a wild card.
okay,
It's only a wild card now because Wolfpack had
the
it.
crossover.
So I guess we'll move on to the next team. Okay, so coming in fourth place for the week is the Courtney Islanders, who are now 7-7-2 for 16 points. And this was a huge week for the Islanders. They really needed these 2 wins, going 2-0. They upset Sealand 5-1, which was really big for them. And even bigger than that game for them, though, was the chance to beat Pitter Patter 5-1, who they are chasing currently for a playoff spot, and now are currently only 1 point behind them. But this game was interesting. The Islanders jumped out big on both teams, or only on Sealand at the start, and Pitter Patter basically held the lead all the way till Saturday night, and Sealand caught back up and they were beating the Islanders on Saturday night. Then the Islanders had a 20-point night on Saturday, and both games just completely turned, especially against Pitter Patter. The Islanders had 20 points on Saturday and Pitter Patter had 2 points. And that just completely going into that night, the Islanders were 10 points behind Pitter Patter going into that game. So into that night. So it was a huge night for the Islanders, and it was good enough to pick up for 2 wins. Dean?
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, you've got a strong team. You just needed to get healthy. Even looking at even looking at your bench, you still got Kucherov on IR, you got Pollock on IR, you got Giordano on IR, and like I said, it was similar to like last year with my team having COVID. I couldn't find a way to put in a healthy roster or close to one, but you seem to be getting a little bit healthy, and wins are going to start to come, I think.
Yeah, just about there. I got Anders Lee back from COVID, and I got somebody else back from COVID too as well. I can't remember. So, and I got an injury back in Forsberg, which I talked about last week, and he was huge for me again this week. 4 goals. So in a game.
I think his first game back, he got 4 goals.
No, his first game back got 2 goals. I think it was his third game back. He got 4 goals. So
yeah, he had a 4-goal performance there one day last week.
Well, I think that was on Monday. So at the very start of this week. So it was a huge start for me. He helped a lot. Keith, what do you think?
Well, sandbagging team essentially, like you got off to a little bit of a slow start.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like, that your team isn't that strong, but let's get serious. Your front 9 forwards and pretty solid defense, and some more than above average goaltending should more often than not be collecting the wins. And as Dean had just mentioned there, that you got some pretty heavy duty guys on the IR that without making any trades, those guys get healthy, and you do make a few trades just to increase your bench a little bit. You could be knocking on the door, just anything can happen, right?
That's the key. You're going to have to.
Guys, we've had a breaking trade come across the board here. Looks like the Islanders and Pitter Patter have swung a deal here. So looks like the Islanders have acquired another injured player in Nicholas Backstrom, who's getting close to coming back and sending his 3rd rounder and Nino Niederreiter over to Pitter Patter.
So you just took a trade for Backstrom. You give up Niederreiter and a 3rd?
Yep.
And he's injured.
Yeah.
But he's back soon.
So you're looking down the road for this then, is what you're doing.
No, he's going to be back in a couple days.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought he was out until like February.
No. He took off the no contact jersey yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, well, he's close.
Yeah.
And
I had to give up Niederreiter
right away. That's a big producer.
I had to give up Niederreiter because I didn't have any cap room. That's why. I more think I would have rather give him like a Backstrom for a 3rd rounder straight up, but I had to get somebody off the roster anyway. So Niederreiter was my worst.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't believe that you actually traded him. You
Nino,
had such a fucking boner for him years ago when he first came on. the
I've
scene.
had Nino forever. I still got him in WCHP.
Oh, there you go.
I have had him forever. He's just a good, consistent 40-point guy with
Mhm.
and gets some penalty minutes and usually a fairly good plus minus. So I don't mind even signing him long term if I know that that's his spot, because you need players like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Backstrom will definitely help you. He's a solid producer.
And
Yeah.
he's gonna play with some good players. So that
Oh, yeah, for sure. Washington's rolling right now too.
Yeah, they are. One in overtime or shootout tonight against Anaheim. I think it was. Was it Anaheim? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they're playing the Ducks tonight.
Yeah. So they yeah. Oh, so there's our first live breaking trade on the in the zone. So I don't know. What do you think?
That's a sneaky trade.
It is a sneaky trade, isn't it?
Because you know what? If he comes back and has a couple of hot weeks to start off, the price is just going to go up. So,
Well,
yeah,
I figured everybody was dropping nuclear bombs with these trades. I thought I would throw a hand grenade.
sometimes the hand grenades are a lot better than the
that's right.
Sometimes you're right.
Agreed.
like it's Backstrom's 1 year, I believe. And
and so is Niederreiter.
okay, so really you're essentially
I gave up
saying
third rounder.
Backstrom for a third rounder on a rental. So fuck, he's got to be producing at a point a game plus for you.
I hope so.
And if he does, well, I'm thinking he does.
Yeah.
There's, if not even better. So that's a huge, over the course of from now to the end of this season, that's a huge production. You can't just find these guys.
It feels like such a minnow trade though after all these blockbusters. It's just like boom, blow my mind. And by the way, I know I talked about it before, but that trade between you guys was just a freaking masterpiece.
Man, it just had to fit years.
That was a masterpiece. So can you answer my question? How long did that take to put that trade together?
From the start of the season.
Oh, okay. All right. That makes sense. I like it because did you hear what I said in my podcast? I was like, as if they tell me that was offered and accepted, I'll just go.
Initially, we were looking at possibly me taking the acquiring of the players from him because he was thinking he was in a rebuild.
Right.
But as each week kept
then it kind of switched around.
Yeah. No, we both started winning. And it was just like, well, okay, there's a seesaw and stuff. And then I started watching the fancy stats and stuff. And I went, fuck, man, I think I'm just one of these lucky guys by product of the specific week that I play. I'm just getting enough to beat the guys that I'm playing.
Right.
And so, and let's face it, when I'm playing, a majority of my games against the bottom six in your guys' division or the other division, fuck, man, we're just pounding on them.
Yep.
Right. So I'm still going to make the playoffs.
That's what I said. That's what I said in the podcast was that, or in the trade podcast. I said, he's calculated this, that he's this far ahead right now. And even if he struggles just a little bit, he's still going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Eichel's going to join the.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah, I know. He's looking at a February date, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And now Tyler Johnson just had the same surgery. You know what? This was the biggest scam that ever happened with Buffalo. They just wanted to get rid of Jack Eichel, and they were using it as an excuse that they could get rid of him. They probably had no problem with him getting this back surgery. Like they wanted fusion, he wanted plastic, whatever.
Yeah.
Like they just used this as an excuse to finish off their rebuild and get rid of him.
Well, he wanted out anyway.
He did, but there's also been a lot of reports that he's not a very good locker teammate, eh?
Well, if that's the case, then that's where guys like
he walks around. From what I've read, he walks around like I'm the star of the team, and you guys you're nothing.
Well, he's not going to get that when he goes to Las Vegas, and we all should know this. There's star talent on that team already.
Oh, I know
Yeah.
that. I agree.
Good leadership there, so that might
Yeah.
reel him in.
Yeah, better leadership.
It probably will. It probably will, because he's now realizing that you can't win Stanley Cups by yourself. That's for sure.
Yes, exactly.
So
And let's be honest, he did not have a lot of help in Buffalo.
no,
never,
no.
never. So, I think it was a risk reward trade for all of us.
They
Dean wanted to keep pace too, and I was willing to say, well, you know what? I don't know if I can run with the top four, but I can certainly, if I can get into the playoffs, I can certainly
yeah.
upset somebody.
Well, all you need is the right given week, right?
Yes,
And maybe
exactly.
COVID hits them in the playoffs.
Yeah, you only need 1 week, right?
You
One
don't
bad
know.
week.
Yeah,
can
one
set
bad
the
week.
pace for
So you never know.
Trying to recover 1 week into 2 weeks is not easy.
All right. So
Pasternak was the key for me. As soon as you finally dangled him, I knew we were gonna come to some sort of an agreement.
Yeah.
So was I right in my video, Keith? Were you never really that high on Pasternak? I mean, you liked him obviously for being passionate, but you're never.
Well, he's going to be the 50-goal guy. There's on that line. There's no question in reality.
He's the
but I
goal
think it's gonna-
scorer.
Yeah, he's the goal scorer, and he's going to always come up a little bit less in the assists than what Marchand
Yes.
and Bergeron do. So he doesn't get the points, in my opinion. You know, so he's an 80,
Right.
maybe 90-point guy.
Agreed.
And
But you know what?
the risk of Eichel knowing that, you know, one more hit and he's fucking done.
I don't think so. I think
No?
I think medicine's come a long way. That like I don't think it's so hit and miss anymore.
Right.
I think
But-
they know what they're doing.
And if UFC guys are getting the same
Yeah.
surgery, I'm pretty sure a hockey player can handle it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So the reality of it really is that I think Eichel's probably better than a point of game guy, especially with the team that he's going to. But as you bring up, if he's got a bad locker room attitude, does it carry over to the ice?
I think he'll be. I agree with you both. I think he'll be better in Vegas once he knows he can't win this by himself because he's been by himself. So, but you know, I still don't blame Buffalo that much because you know, they brought in Skinner. Skinner scored 40 goals. They brought Skinner in for him. Okay, yeah, he bombed. They brought Taylor Hall in for him. They bombed. You know, so I'm not sure about Jack Eichel as being the guy who can raise other people's levels. Why did these other people's level drop when they come to Jack Eichel? I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Well, okay. So sink or swim, risk reward, right?
Yeah. Who knows?
That's what it comes down to.
Oh, I like the trade from both sides. I would take it both ways.
I got Gerard. I thought by getting Gerard too, you know, there's a little carrot. And Stützle, I know that you've made it clear that you kind of think he's on the downside of it, and maybe he makes it, maybe he doesn't. But he was enough of a diamond to throw to say, okay, yeah, I'll make that deal.
Yeah, I agree.
Stützle. I still love Stützle.
So do I. I would love to have him.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I just think we thought he was going to be a little higher tier up than what I don't think he's going to be as high as tier up as we thought. I still think he's going to be in a good tier.
Well, he could.
It's early. He's still a young kid.
Agreed.
Yeah. I think he can get into the Philip Forsberg strat line.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
and
positive.
if you get that, then you know what? He's got a pretty good NHL career.
Yeah.
You got to remember that team's just going to continue to get better too. No different than Edmonton. Look where Edmonton is now. It took them a lot of years to figure it out. Ottawa's, I think, a little bit ahead of the game.
Well, we don't really know where Edmonton is until the playoffs happen. We don't know where Edmonton is. We don't know where Toronto is. We don't know where the Rangers are until they get into those hard playoff games. And I don't care what they do in the next 60 games. Any three of those teams, prove it to me when you get to the playoffs, and then I'm a believer.
I agree.
And Winnipeg took a hoedown on the Leafs last night. And the Leafs just I'm sorry, man, but I would be fucking embarrassed to be fucking Austin Matthews being ragdolled around like the way he let that guy fucking do him. Like, what is wrong with these kids nowadays, man? Fight back, you fucking useless tool. Like, we
That's
don't
not their
do that.
style.
I know, and it's just, it blows my mind. Just absolutely blows my mind. I wouldn't have, I would have went out in disguise leaving that arena if I'd let somebody ragdoll me like that.
It's
You
embarrassing.
know
It
what?
wasn't it?
It is.
And when Winnipeg did that, you know, they brought the hammer down on the Leafs, and the Leafs, fuck.
How many games in the season are we?
What's that?
How many games in the season are we? 23, 24?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. Why?
You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Hello. I was just getting a phone call and I declined it.
Oh, okay.
What were the NHL's 23, 24 games into the season now?
Oh, the Honors have played like 18 or 19, but they're behind.
Yeah, but exactly. The rest of the teams are in that range. You're talking about the fighting, like Matthews doesn't fight. Do you know Tom Wilson had his first fight tonight?
He tries to back out of fights too. He backs down every time from Ross Johnson, man. Ross wants to fight him. He sometimes will take on Matt Martin, not often. He backs down all the time.
Oh,
Yeah. Wilson doesn't want to fight.
I would take Tom Wilson on my team any day.
Absolutely, me
Love
too.
Tom Wilson.
I
was using a reference for the fighting side of it.
I
Like,
was
how much
gonna
fighting is down.
I was gonna pick Tom Wilson even higher than he should have been.
Yeah, Keith stole him
I
from
was,
me in the
yeah.
draft.
Yeah. And I was very disappointed because to me, he's just the number one fantasy player out there.
Well, he's in
if
the
there's-
Marchand. He's in the Marchand, but not the points though.
But
Marchand
he hits all
the best
five
player.
categories. He hits all five categories. Man.
Yes.
And you can't go wrong with Tom Wilson, that's for sure.
He's up for trade, just if people want to know.
Oh, okay. They're really what do you, well, we'll get into that a little later as we get on here. We should get back to it because we've only covered 14 about
Now that you mentioned that, I think Ryan Kelly's just sent in a trade request to you, Keith.
Are you serious? Is that true?
It'll just be a matter of minutes.
Oh yeah, no doubt. You're right. He's in Hawaii, but there he is looking at his phone in the room. Just gonna go out for a second, honey, get a margarita. Hope you're having a good time in Hawaii there, RK. Enjoy. Wish I was down to eat. Anyway, we got to get back on track here. So this team confused the living hell out of me this week. Flying Colors, but I can only assume that Flying Colors, after losing 4 straight and finally breaking their 500 drought by going 2-0 this week, are trying to work their way back to 500 again. Flying Colors beat it was a huge upset over the East Coast Brewers 4-3. And good news for Nick on this one, losing Flying Colors beat Nick MLJ 5-1. Keith.
Those are games that he should. Well, East Coast. Who did he beat? He beat Nick.
He beat the Brewers and Nick MLJ.
Okay, he stole a game there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So that's.
But was he trying to? That's the whole confusing part to me here.
Well, is he trying to tank?
I don't know. This is a mystery we've been trying to figure out all year.
I think he's kind of right in that. He's in a tough spot. He's right in that middle zone of not quite being an elite team, and he's not weak enough to be a bottom 4 team. He's kind of in that, and we all know what it's like when you're kind of right in that in-between stage. You almost just kind of have to grind it out and hope for another draft to kind of take it to that next level.
Yeah, it's a tough position to be in. I've been in it. It's hard to break. I was in it in WCHB last year. And I said the hell with it. And at the end, I grabbed the 8th playoff spot and said the hell with it. I'll give it a try. Because I couldn't get down to the bottom 4, right? I wanted to get down to the bottom 4. And I just couldn't get there. So I said, screw it, I'll try to win. And I ended up in the playoffs and gave Darren one of the biggest scares he ever had.
And sometimes that happens, right?
Well, yeah, so like if that if we had went one day longer, I scored him the next day 10 points to 1. Oh my God, one day longer and he was gone. But yeah, anyway, I find Garrow a confusing one here. I doubt he'll win 2 more in a row next week to go 9-9. So I think he's staying away from 500. But here's a team that we're starting to see now in 6th place. There is a little bit of life. I talked about it. Did he wait too long? But like last year, but this year he's actually made the move a little bit earlier, even though he didn't start out strong after the trades. And that's the Flames of Fleury, 4-9-3 for 11 points. And they are starting to win. And they had a big game against the Wolfpack, and they tied them 3-3. The Wolfpack's no slouch, and the Flames beat the Gators 7-0. So they did what they had to do. They went 1-0-1, which is basically picking up a point on 3rd place, which is pitter patter. So he's starting to move. McDavid's starting to make a difference, and we all know that McDavid didn't have that great of a week last week. Dean?
Yeah, I actually I didn't mind the move as much as other guys disliked it. I like his forward core. Hopefully West doesn't just sit back though. Like I think he still needs to. He definitely needs to shore up his defense. If he's serious about making a move this year, he needs to shore up that defense. But I say he's going to continue to move up the standings here before too long, and I think that trade will pay off for him, but he's got to be aggressive out there and still make a couple more moves if he wants to seriously contend.
Well, I kind of agree with that. What do you think, Keith? Oh, Keith's a little bit busy.
I'm just trying to look it up, but you guys can probably do it quicker. How many points did he score last week?
Who? The Flames?
Yeah.
He wasn't bad. He wasn't really high. Give me just 2 seconds here.
I got him.
Okay.
Oh no.
He only scored 29 points.
No,
yeah. I think that catches up to him if that's all he's getting. But that being said,
yeah, but McDavid had that bad week.
Contributed a little bit better to his normal standards. You get him, and you start getting in the 35-point range. You could start running with guys. So I would look at his numbers, like on the team stats. I would go and look up, see how good is his team in scoring on a weekly basis. And if we do that, then you can get a pretty good idea as to whether or not does he have enough to get there.
Well, the way I looked at it right now for a guy like Wes is we're in week 9, right?
Yeah.
So week 11 is basically over the halfway point for the regular season, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So if Wes can pull off a couple of 2-0s here before that halfway point, I think things could look a lot different for him. But he needs to do that move now so that he can keep climbing in the second half.
Yeah, I think if he stands pat, it'll come back to bite him. I think he's still got to be aggressive out there because he's still got some holes. But I like the move. Anytime you get a McDavid, he's a game changer. So if he can continue to make a couple more moves, I think he'll be a little bit dangerous.
I agree.
I'm looking at stats from last week, and he only got 2 goalie points, and he won the category. His save percentage was .941, so that gives me an indication he doesn't get a lot of starts. His points at 29, but his penalty minutes at 51.
Yeah, Wes is always big on the penalty,
right? So he's competitive as far as that goes, and he's plus 15. So that's what I'm saying. If you go look at the team stats, you can figure out along the line where's his strength and where's his weakness.
I think he
Did you
was
look
in
at
the,
team
I think
stats?
he was in
Oh.
plus 20s at one point in that week. I think it was something like plus 24 or somebody
And
was like,
he's got Kemper, who was hurt partially last week. Too,
yeah,
don't forget.
and he
Okay.
didn't return tonight either. Kemper, so he's still on the mend, but I think he's close.
Yeah, they went with their third stringer. Colorado.
Oh,
Yeah.
I gotta start starting Holtby more, man. He's doing great. Damn.
And just for the record, McDavid was still +5 last week.
yeah.
He
So
had
there,
6 points, 15 penalty minutes.
oh
He was a
yeah,
contributor.
yeah, because he got
That's a
kicked
5
out, right?
category week.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a
Connor
great week.
McDavid does not normally get 5 category weeks.
No, that's true. That's true. So he
And
definitely
slow
made,
scoring week.
yeah, he definitely made up for it with the 15 minutes for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. For
6
okay.
points, so still pretty good for a guy.
Yeah.
He's not going to get 8 or 9 every week.
Yeah. All right. So in seventh place, that brings the Florida Gators, who've been doing a really good job of tanking since the start of the season. They're 3-13-0 for 6 points. A good week for the tank. They lost to you, Keith. You blew them out 6-1. And the Flames also took care of business with the Gators 7-0. Keith.
I didn't really run them over that much. As I always say, if I get the split of one of the goalie stats, there's a chance I can be in there. The fact he only puts up 8 points, though, that's a good tank. Like he's making sure no matter what.
I saw that. Good job, man. 8
Yeah,
points.
like
that's
by
splendid.
freak of nature, he gets a .924 save percentage, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
that fucked up start or goes
Yeah.
in the middle of the game or whatever. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, he was -18. I'm -11. That's still not good, right? So he's going in the right direction. The teams that are supposed to beat him.
Ryan Kelly's, you mentioned it before, but man, his plus minus stinks. He's been double digits the last 3-4 weeks. Like he's down there in the whole plus minus.
That's where those team stats come in.
Yeah.
Those reports. You guys, it's the reports. Reports.
Yeah.
I've got to say one thing on the Gators. The Makar trade, I think he's going to regret that down the road.
Oh, I do too.
He should have hung on to Makar.
I have a trade lined up for Makar with the Bruins.
I'm kicking
I
myself.
just don't know if I can pull the trigger.
Yeah, as soon as I seen Ryan made that trade with him, I was kicking myself. I thought he would hang on to him, so I didn't think after just acquiring him, he wouldn't flip him that quick. But I think he'll regret that move down the road. Like he said, and he taught me a long time ago, if you're going to win these pools, you have got to have some back end defensive scoring, and they're so tough to get.
Yeah.
But
I couldn't believe I got Hedman in 9th in WCHP.
Yeah.
That was crazy. That was a crazy.
Especially if you got him 9th there, that tells me that guys aren't paying attention over there then.
Well, unfortunately, he's heating up right now, and I want to be losing. So,
but the 8 guys that didn't pick him, I'm hoping that they pick better players.
Oh yeah, there was some solid. I can't remember. Dean, who was picked this year? McDavid.
He pretty much.
I didn't have a first round pick, so I wasn't. I was drinking beer until like round 5.
It was monstrous. Well,
Edmonton's better than a point a game.
Yeah.
For a defenseman, there are not that many guys that are that good.
Yeah.
So that's where the importance of the defense flat rate out comes in.
So anyway, the master of the tank is Dan the Man Baristo. This man knows how to tank, and as discussed with his 0-41-1 record, which I don't think that'll ever be broken. I don't know. I just don't see it. You'd have to be really, really bad from game 1. Like to go 0-42. He does well now, yeah, but like we talked about it last time, is he's got to figure it out because now this time he's got some guns to fight in the playoffs.
To give it go in the playoffs.
Yeah. So anyway,
what
Dan,
he's got on a week-to-week basis, not what he's gonna put out on the ice in the playoffs.
No, agreed. So
Right.
Dan sits at 114-1 for 3 points. Another perfect tank week for him. Gave an easy win for Renee and another easy win for you, Keith. 6-1.
Didn't think I played him last week.
Oh, do I have the wrong? Did I every once in a while I'll put the wrong score in?
I played the Gators.
Oh, is it the Gators? Okay.
Yeah. And the Bruins.
Okay.
Dan is a tough negotiator. I think I've sent him 17 trade offers. I'm over 17 so far.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think me and Dan will probably ever hook up either in a trade. Yeah. Well, at least you're persistent, Dean.
Yeah, I'm not giving up. Dan, if you're listening, I'm still coming. So check your inbox.
But he sets a standard for himself, because if he thinks that he's going to make a trade with me, that first round pick plus for Connor McDavid, no, you can't do that. So if you want something from me, you know the price you're expected to be paying, right?
Absolutely. Anyway, so let's recap the Bossy division here. Nothing new with the Harrison Lakers up top, and they've got quite the spread now. It's a 7-point lead, so they're pulling away fast. The East Coast Brewers are easily in second place by themselves with 22 points, and then Pitter Patter holding the final playoff spot in the Bossy division at 8-7-1 for 17 points, and the Islanders are just outside looking in at 16 points, only one behind with Flying Colors, just 2 points behind the Islanders in fifth. Flames of Fleury were trying to make a strong push here at 4-9-3 for 11 points. They're trying to move up and get competitive for a playoff spot as well. And the Florida Gators are continuing a good tank and are right down at the very bottom now, and sitting there with the Highlanders, who've only gotten 3 points this year. And next, we're going to be going to the Langway division. You guys. Okay, so it's time to move on to the Langway division, and we are so used to seeing brewing up some suds just rocking and rolling up there, and we've got a new leader in the Langway division. It is the Colwood Rangers, 13-3-0 for 26 points. Dean is the top dog in the Langway. Had an easy week and a couple of easy teams to play, beating the Highlanders 7-0 and the Outlaws 7-0. So, Dean, 2-0 week. Not much more you can do. You've been relentless on Ryan's tail all year, and you just stormed past him.
I really don't. I'm not happy with the moves he made this week, though. I'm going to tell you right now, I feel like even when I'm in the lead, I feel like I'm chasing now.
The Vasilevsky move?
That trade.
Do you remember when you had him?
Makar and Vasilevsky, yeah, those are two daggers right there.
Yeah, he made a move, man. He seriously made a statement.
Yeah, it's he's definitely changed the complexion of his team right now. So I might feel good this week, but that might be it. So I'm gonna have to probably make one more move here at some point.
that's what I mean. Like, you guys are fucking throwing nuclear bombs at each other, and that's what I mean when I said I felt like I threw a hand grenade with Backstrom.
And look at Renee's just sitting quiet over the other side, right?
Well, he did everything he could do right at the start because, I don't know, maybe Dean. And now Dean's chasing him.
Yeah, Ryan and I are still chasing.
Do you think you're both still chasing Renee?
Yeah, Renee's he's got a really good squad there. I don't know if it's tough to outpoint him, so you got to win him. You got to beat him in 4 of the categories. So that's how I'm trying to build my team, is to beat him in 4 of the categories.
Yeah. What was his point totals this week? 58 was the last I looked.
But I think he was like 59 points or something.
59. Yeah.
59 points.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's
it's only a matter of time when he's starting to hit the 60s.
Yeah, he's putting up points like the New Brunswick Bears put up points last year. He's loaded for the point wise, so for sure. So anyway, how does it feel to be in first place, team?
Well, for this week, like I say, it feels good, but I've been lucky. I've been on a little bit of a roll lately. So when you go on a heater, sometimes you tend to get a few cold weeks too. So I'm going to take it as long as I can run with the hot streak, but I think it'll turn at some point.
Well, I was originally supposed to have Al on this podcast with us, and he had to back out because he was sitting there taking Christmas money at the front of Co-op tonight with his lovely wife, Lori.
Well, good for him.
Yeah. So he
Yeah.
had to back out, but oh fuck. Well, Keith, remember last week? I think it was
Shout
you.
out to Al.
No, anyway, I lost my train of thought because I'm stoned this time. So what was I talking about? I know that Al couldn't make it because him and Lori were at the same,
Right.
but it had to be something about Al. Oh yeah, I was hoping when I got Al on this podcast tonight, I was gonna say, so the Bruins, they were like 11-2-1 going in this week, and they had this team chasing them all along, and then all of a sudden just lost 2 games. Familiar at all, Al?
Fuck. I think at one
You know
point
how Ryan
Al
felt
like
now?
18-3 or something like that, or 18-4 or something like that one time last year?
No, because our season only went 11 weeks.
Oh,
So I think Al had to start falling around week 6 or 7,
no.
somewhere around there that's when he just started to fall. And then I think Nick got him by about 8 or 9, somewhere in there. And then had it. But but anyway, Dean, you're saying don't be fooled by seeing the Bruins fall down this week.
Yeah, it's going to be an uphill battle all season, but Ryan made some great moves this week, and Renee's the cream of the crop, and there's other good teams out there too if they make a few moves. So I think it's going to be probably about a 4 or 5 team race here near the end.
I've never seen Renee's team so lackluster in penalty minutes before.
Yeah, that's one category you can beat.
It's not his strong suit anymore. He can beat you in it.
That's not his strong suit right now.
No, it's not. He's got a figure skater team.
But those figure skaters can sure put up points.
Oh yes, they can. But they don't. They're like Austin Matthews. They'll let you get ragdolled, and I won't fight back. That's okay. Keep throwing me around. That's all right. Oh, okay. My head into the ice. I'm not going to fight you. Oh, I should make a meme like that. Would be a great voice to do it in too. Oh my God, that was so embarrassing. I was embarrassed for him. I
was embarrassed for him. Like, yeah, that was actually hard to watch.
It was really hard to watch. And the funny part about it is I probably shouldn't be, because I know he's not. So why should I be if he's not? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Oh man, that was embarrassing. Anyway, so obviously that means the Bruins fell on some hard times this week, going 11-4-1 for 23 points. That's full 2 points behind you now, Dean. And so with the double loss this week, it was enough to hurt him big time. And Keith, you were one of the big guys to take him down 4-2, and Pitter Patter Steve took him down 4-2 as well. So you both
well done, buddy.
Yeah.
No, I kind of predicted that. I said if I beat him, it's 4-3. If he beats me, it's 5.
You did.
5-2, 6-1.
You
did
said that on the podcast. You did say
Right.
that.
I said if I beat him, I can only beat him in 4. I'm not going to beat him everywhere else. So it's.
And I also said I would beat Sealand.
Yes, you did.
I said I think I'm the better team.
Okay, there you go. So see, those are the games. Those are the games that's what separates that range of, say, 6 to 12, because it's those games where you play. If you beat those guys in those ranges, you move up. They drop back, right?
Yeah.
especially
they're-
divisional games.
They're
kids are-
big, they're big
proverbial
4-point
4-point.
games for sure. They're big
Right.
4-point games.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
As I was talking about with Pitter Patter beating the Bruins, but losing to me, the 4-point game to me would have been more important for him.
Yes.
He would have
Yeah.
put me down 2 and gained 2 on me.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big swing, right?
Yeah.
I don't
huge.
care what time of the season that is. That's a big swing because now you need 2 of them
Yeah.
in your
Yeah.
favor.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I guess we all agree. Yeah. I think Ryan's okay. He'll be fine. Be interesting
Oh.
to see.
Thanks.
That's what I mean. I said I'm really looking forward to this week's worth of play because so many big names were traded, and to see how it's all going to start working out. Like who really is the strongest now? I honestly really don't know.
I think Ryan really did a great job.
I do too. Like that's the
Let's find out this week. They're playing each other.
I know. It should be good. Should be good. So anyway, one team that had an interesting week was Sealand, but it was strong enough to hold on to third place as they split their week going 1-1. The Islanders took Sealand down rather easily, and then Sealand beat the strong Wolfpack. Wolfpack didn't have a good week, so there we are with Sealand sitting in third place. Keith?
I think he's probably going to be hanging around that position pretty much all season long. He beat Renee, so he's got a setup of his team in a way that maybe he likes it, and that's how he's getting his wins. You know, sometimes he's accounting for some hidden stats, is what my guess is. In categories, some of us might let go a little bit.
Yeah.
So he's got a good mix, but my guess would be is that he needs to maybe pick up his defensive scoring and possibly, a little bit of toughness.
Yeah.
He's going to be
he's going to be a pain in the ass for everybody, though. There's no question. And he has the ability to have that 6-week stretch.
He's in tough right now, though, because Shesterkin's out for him.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and Bennington's on
Yeah.
the COVID list. So right now he doesn't have a goalie in that.
That's true.
oh, fuck, he's going to lose 2 goals right away to his competition this week.
Yeah, unless Bennington comes back late in the week.
Does he not have a spare?
No spare.
No,
No spare. Oh, yeah. That's an ouch for sure. Ouch. That hurts.
But he's
So-
got some nice pieces there. I'm curious to see if he keeps Raymond on the bench all year or makes a move here at some point. But there is some nice pieces on his team. I just think he might be
I believe he's got the cap room, doesn't he?
away.
I think he has the years. I think he does. I think he has cap room.
He's got 50 years used up at the moment, so he's got
Yeah.
open years.
Yeah.
And I love his goaltending when healthy. His goaltending when healthy can compete with anybody.
okay, so that's where, if that's the case, he's getting 2 goals quite often, right? So
And I'm
that's
not
how
just-
he's
I'm not just
competing.
being-
Oh yeah. His team has been strong in goaltending all year.
Absolutely. Yeah,
He's
That's
getting
what's
2 goals
making
a
him
game
competitive.
almost.
yeah.
Shesterkin's been lights out. He's been our best player all year. It's too bad he got hurt, but
What is it, Dean? I haven't even heard what it was. Or have they
I
even
think
released
it's,
it?
somewhere around his groin area there. He's got a certain spot when he does a certain stretch. He did the same area when he tweaked it last time.
Oh, so, and he wasn't out that long last time.
No, it wasn't out that long, but it's just the way he tweaks it or something. It puts a lot of, I can't remember the way they described it. It just puts a lot of pressure on it. So he just has to rest it, but it doesn't sound serious, which is good.
No, it's good. Yeah. I don't know how those guys do that. The Sorokin and Shesterkin with those splits and that's just insanity.
Those are a couple of fun goalies to watch right now.
They are. It's just like, man, how do you do that with not ripping your entire nuts sack right off your body? Like, Jesus Christ. But hey, here's a feel-good story. Team coming creeping up to tie for third once again for a second time with Sealand is Macaulay Mustangs at 11-5-0 for 22 points. Keith had a great week. beating the Bruins 4-3, and then beating the Gators, who he should have beaten anyway. So Keith, how you feeling now about your team?
Stealing some wins is what it is.
Well, how did you steal against the Bruins?
Well, on paper, you got to be thinking I should be losing to the Bruins.
Well, how'd you beat them?
Well, I said it, it's like I just put the stats where he didn't have the stats. He beat me where he should have, and I got him where I should have, or I stole a category from him somewhere along the line, right?
Yeah. And so I'm assuming you won the plus minus, since his plus minus is always so horrid.
Well, but I was minus 11 myself, so that's not a good week either. So that's an
and you got a goal for that, for minus 11?
I got a goal for minus 11. So there's there's that's stealing a stat, right?
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
And then as far as the other game goes, well, that's we're supposed to beat these teams, and so will I go 2-0 again the rest of the season? I don't know. But if I do a little bit of tinkering here and there, I think that maybe I can.
And then just hope everything falls the way you need it to fall in the playoffs.
Well, there's a good matchup going on right started tonight with the Rangers and the Bruins, and one of those guys, hopefully one of those guys takes a loss, but a tie would actually be helpful too. That gives me the opportunity to gain a game on one of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
That's
just
true.
gives me an opportunity to gain a game on one of them, right?
Unless they tie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that could come back and get them later too, right?
Yeah. So
that tie, I get a win.
Sure.
And then next thing I beat them by 1 point at the end of the season.
Well, that'd be nice. So Dean, if you've been watching the podcast, tell me a little bit about this golden touch thing that Keith told me that you have, that everything you have apparently turns to gold.
You told me this a long time ago, but it's obviously everyone knows the goaltenders, especially in a pool like this, how important goalies are. But Keith's little hidden thing there that he taught me a long time ago when we started winning pools was loading up on the best defenseman in the league. And we kind of built from the back end out, especially with our D-men. And it turned into gold. There's far more forwards available out there than scoring elite D-men. We just kind of load up as best we can and build out that way. It's gold. It works well.
But not for really that well for other people, though. So I wouldn't try that if I was you at home.
It's gold. It's a ticket.
Back in those days, it was back-to-back titles.
Back-to-back titles. Well, Renee did it here.
Anderson and who's that? Spashik. Yeah. We sat Yager in the finals.
We had the Columbus trio.
Wow.
And they went on a tear the last 2 weeks.
Beautiful. Just the way you write it up. Yeah. Anyway, Keith, that's a pretty good week for you.
I can't complain.
No, for sure.
I know in my own mind, like I'm a playoff team, probably.
Yeah. But not only are you tied for third place, but you're also now only a point behind second.
Yes.
The Bruins.
So another 2-0 week. It's playing teams that I'm supposed to beat.
Yeah.
So if I can go 2-0 again with a little bit of luck, because the Rangers and the Bruins playing, that's where I catch that one game on one of them.
Right.
So, tough division.
Yep.
It's not a huge shock this week, though. Like you're capable of beating anybody week to week. Like you've got enough talent on your team, though, that it's not a shock for you to upset some teams ahead of you. At least when I look at your team, the only question mark you got a little bit is Koskinen's been good. Is the second goalie, is it going to be Allmark? But
that's what I said. I said the same thing to keep about the goaltending last week or the week before, whatever it was, and I still think your goaltending is a bit suspect. But
not lots out there, though.
Yeah, and I know, but when they're on, then it's not suspect. You know what I mean? So when they're going, they're going good. But
Koskinen's going to get me his wins because of the team that he plays on.
He gave us
Skinner's
some
feeling
really
some-
ugly goals lately. He's back to his ugly once again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's looking like the same old guy.
I just send that. Nick just sends to me. Are you watching Quick?
Hey, well, I should probably throw Holtby into that ring there too, Keith.
Hope he doesn't play on a good enough team anymore. You took him off the waiver wire, so the most you're getting for him is maybe 6th, 7th.
Oh,
No?
you're dreaming.
I'm
No, I'll
fucking
just
otherwise you can keep
I'll
him.
just keep him for
Exactly.
security then.
I'm not paying that much.
I didn't ask you to.
He's had a nice start to the season, though.
He's had a great season. He's doing really well. If Keith doesn't want him, I'm fine with that.
I thought for sure the Salters would have made a trade after the last podcast with Jonathan Quick, and
Yeah, it seemed like it was going down there, didn't it?
it felt like there was a trade going down.
Well, I was almost thinking of Yanni Gretzky, but then I looked at who I got, and there was nobody I could really drop for him. Like I said, I had to throw in Niederreiter as a throw-in today, and
That's
did I
pretty
want?
good. If you have to do that, then you know that depth-wise in your team.
I know, but I still didn't want to do it, even though I did it.
You should have asked him for a late draft pick back then. That's what you make it work. Yes.
No, I don't want any draft picks because I won't be making many picks this year at all myself anyway.
Why?
I've got prospects to sign.
No. Start trading all your picks then, dumbass. You have nothing to lose.
Oh no, I'll keep my first and second.
No, you got to trade them.
Nope. No, I don't.
How do you expect to win the pool if you're not willing to fucking pay the price?
I'll take who's first and second next year.
Yeah, I struggle sometimes with being patient. So
I know.
If I sniff a little bit of blood in the water, I'm on the go mode.
Did you sniff any blood?
I did after about week 3. So I've been kind of trending towards.
You've been active.
Yeah,
you've been active.
Yeah.
11-3, Dean, or 13-3. Like you're kicking ass.
Well, like I say, it's I'm really not happy with Ryan's trades this week. So I was really hoping to have a podcast this week.
I know. And I'm a little bit shocked because I don't think you've made a pitch yet tonight to anybody. Are you traded out? This is usually why you come on these podcasts.
I got my little dig into Dan. I'm still trying to grind Dan down a little bit here. So Dan, like I said.
So 18's coming tomorrow?
Yeah.
Number 18's coming tomorrow?
I think we're close. I think we get close, and then I'm just not.
It's got to be Ovechkin you're working on. Has to be.
He's been brought up.
I brought him up too, and then once he I said, okay, exit stage left.
If you got McDavid for 1 year, what he got? Can you imagine what he's gonna want for fucking Ovechkin? Jesus Christ, man, 2 years.
That's why I left quickly.
Okay.
I said I'm not even dealing with this. I'm just okay. You know what? You got your first, so who am I to say, right?
Yeah.
So I had to let it go. Where the hell are we in this podcast? Oh yeah. Okay, so coming in 5th place, and these guys had a bad week. Port Elgin Wolfpack going 8-6-2 for 18 points. They're still in a playoff spot because they got the wild card spot. However, that spot was almost a given a while back there, and it's no longer a given anymore because they're only 2 points ahead of the Islanders right now. And if the Islanders, pick up 2 points, there's no wild card spot available. So it was a rough week for them. They tied the Flames 3-3, and granted, the Flames went and got McDavid in that. So That was a tough game, but then they had another tough opponent in Sealand and lost 4-3 to the Wolfpack. Dean. Or I mean, the Wolfpack lost. Sorry.
Yeah, he had a tough week, but we're all going to have those weeks from time to time. I like his team. But Bo, if you're listening out there, I've got
Here we go.
available. I am interested in Fox, and I was interested in Matthews until I seen his performance last night. So his value is dropping. So you may as well kick him in. Let's work around those three guys. I'll shoot you an offer.
What are you thinking?
Well, I'm around Pasternak, but I want Fox and a couple of the stud ones. I'll give him something else back. We'll tinker.
We'll tinker. Tinker. Well, yeah.
Reach out, Bo.
And too bad we weren't live streaming, because if we were live streaming, I could get Vodafone in right now, right?
Yeah, we can negotiate this before the end of the night, sure.
Well, it sounds like Dean's not finished wheeling and dealing this year. Not by no.
There'll be some tinkering.
Yeah, so I think it was just a hard week for the Wolfpack. The opponents were no slouches. So even though Wes's record might not look like it right now, I think he's going to be a better team than what his record indicates what he is now. So no real shame in any of his losses there.
No, I think Freddie Anderson got hurt too. So
yes,
I think that hurt him as well.
Yeah.
Well, goalies are so important, right?
Have you noticed teams that have had the goaltending are just kicking butt this year?
Yeah. Yeah. Can't replace it.
Yeah.
These guys are in tough too, because they're facing anybody in the same division plays each other a little bit more than what they play the other division, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So these guys down there are going to get the top 4 teams in our division more often than not, obviously. Yeah. And so they're not going to get the wins as often, but they're still the teams that steal the wins, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Always is.
Strong division. It hasn't, like you said a couple of weeks ago, I don't think I've seen this division this deep before, right?
Well, it depends what happens with the Wolfpack this week, I think. Do they rebound to say that division stays that super strong? Because if he goes something like 1-1 or 1-0-1 again, he's just going to be down there.
And he's got he plays Nick this week.
Oh, he's okay there.
So he should get a win there.
Yeah. Yeah. So if he rebounds back, then he's cruising. But who had a rough week? Nick. Moves like Jagger. Oh. They had a bad win. They're now 4-10-2 for 10 points. Oh, Nick beat Al 5-2, beating the Capitals. And that's enough for Al to slip down below Nick there. And Nick did his job against flying colors. He lost 5-1 there, but that was just a key loss to a key team. Keith?
Well, the way that he's built his team, he's kind of caught sometimes winning games. I get his point, because he says, I'm not giving up on my prospects. I'm like, yeah, okay, well, then you might have to absorb it. And he goes, if I get it, as long as I can get in the bottom 4, even if he, gets into the bottom 8, I said, you could go from 4 to 8, because more often than not, the tanking teams are trying to get down there. They're not going to be strong with the teams that are just missing the playoffs. Yeah. So they go from 5th to 8th. But yeah, he'll have to rebound and figure out what's more important to him is next year's draft. But the draft is deep, like he says, and it is what it is.
Well, that's why I want to hang on to my 1st and 2nd. So I know how strong it is. So
it was painful to have to move that pick to Keith when I was looking at who's available next year.
It was even hard for me to give up the 3rd rounder, but I do think it's really the first 2.
It's the right price, I think. Yeah. For his pedigree, he's being shown to put up those 100-point seasons on
Yeah.
point basis, right?
Yeah,
Games based on games or whatever. But
I'm
Yeah.
taking one of those little chances that you never know might turn out, like you said, be the biggest
Yeah,
trade of the
well,
bunch. Who knows? That
the
affects
other guy
me,
out there is
you know?
Malkin.
Yeah,
He's just about due to come back too, right?
yeah.
Do you take a shot at him? Well, I
has
think
Malkin?
you do.
Do we know?
Who
The
does
Gators,
that?
I believe.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting, isn't it?
No, I gotta let the pets in.
Yeah.
I can still hear you guys though.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, so
you know who's got Malkin is the Florida Gators.
oh, that's interesting. How many years?
1-year contract.
Oh, I've kind of almost set the table a little bit.
Yeah, that's a solid depth player in a third.
Yeah. And this is how it works, folks. This is what happens to Dean daily at home. And Jen goes, Dean, what are you doing? Just that guy.
It'll be all of a sudden something will come to me at 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
I gotta get on my phone. I gotta get on my phone. And she's yelling at me to turn the light off on the phone, but I'm sending out a trade offer because it just came to me.
That's bad.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Okay, so then let's move on to the Living Skies Capitals, who dropped down below Nick and into 7th spot in the Langway, now 4-11-1 for 9 points. Al has finally made his way into the bottom 4 in the no control zone. A great week at 0-2. Lakers kicked his ass 6-1, and Nick beat him 5-2. Dean.
Al's doing what he's got to do.
Yeah.
Al has figured out how to lose, and it's nice to see it'll pay off for him next year. But yeah, he started off pretty good there too, right? He started off, I think, 2 or 3 wins in his first 4 games.
Yeah.
And he's gone in he figured it out, and is going on a nice skid here right now.
He did guarantee though that he was going to be in the bottom 4.
Yeah,
and,
he did that on the podcast. He would get there.
And I thought he was in bad shape when he made that guarantee, and I go, oh, he's done well there. But he's also lucky that Nick has no roster space. Nick can't hide anybody.
Yeah.
So that helped him out a lot, that he had one team in that position to help get it down. But then, hey, that's all part of it, I guess.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, so that brings us to our 8th place team, and that would be the Quebec City Outlaws at 2-10-4 for 8 points. They had a good tank week as well. They lost to the East Coast Brewers 6-1, and the Rangers beat them 7-0. How did you do it, Dean?
I actually had a pretty good week right across the board. Actually, I was
Obviously
kind of it that way. So I maybe caught him on a bad week, and I just happen to have a really good one. So that's. But again, that script could flip, and I could get my ass handed to me this week. So that's just the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah. What can you do? What can you do? So yeah, I don't know. I'm still not sure that. Which team were we talking about?
JP.
Oh yeah, JP. Okay, I got something about them. Oh, we are talking about the Outlaws. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Now I forgot what it
See,
was.
this is where we need Al, because he just kind of brings it back all together.
He does. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I'm still not sure JP can stay down in the bottom 4.
Yes, he can.
Yeah,
Yes, he can.
if you pay attention to your
He
team.
made some trades today to weaken his team.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah,
He moved some bodies that he got, based on the reports that we see on the website. He gets TJ Oshie, or he trades TJ Oshie and gets Jacob Chikrin and Philip Gruber. Well, Chikrin, I don't want that guy on my fucking team. He's like
minus 24. Come on, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, minus 24, right. I don't care if you're a rebuilding team or not. You can't fucking have that.
Yeah.
And then Philip Grubauer. Well, Grubauer doesn't have any relevance anymore. The team, he plays on another team that's like shit. He's not putting up anywhere near the stats what he did with Colorado.
No.
And by the way, Colorado's not putting up the stats that they did when he was in their net.
That's true, man. They're giving up like 4 or 5 goals a game, Colorado, but they're
Yes.
putting up 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's recap the Langway here. So we got a new leader up top. There's a new top dog around, and his name is Dean Molberg. The Colwood Rangers sitting up top, 13-3-0 for 26 points, and they unseated the Bruins, who fell down to second spot at 11-4-1 for 23 points. Sealand had a split week and stayed in third place. However, they are now tied for third place with Macaulay Mustangs, who are also at 11-5-0 for 22 points. And the Port Elgin Wolfpack had a tough week, going 1 tie and 1 loss. And so they stayed in 5th, and they don't have as much of a cushion of a playoff spot anymore as they used to. Moves like Jagger, rough week, moving up to 6th spot with 10 points, beating the Capitals, which meant that let Al drop down into 7th spot with 9 points. And bringing up the bottom down in the Langway is the Outlaws. So here we sit. What do you think, guys? Is there going to be any major movement in the season, or somebody going to go way up, somebody going to go way down?
No, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to stay the way that it is. There's 2 points separating 1st and 4th.
Yep.
Am I correct?
There might be some tinkering, but I think a lot of the big moves have been made. I don't know. It depends what TK does and what Keith does. Are you guys going to sit quiet, or do you make a move? You're kind of a trade away from being a real pain in the ass.
We're just we're letting the season go as it is, we'll let it play out a little bit. The season will tell me what to do.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the right attitude. Like, as long as, like, when you're making trades, if you don't weaken yourself any more than what we already have, and you're collecting assets and
who knows what my injury situation is going to be right at the end of the year and stuff like that. I only have 2 roster spots.
Okay.
Right. So, three with my goaltender. I have 3 roster spots, 1 for each.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just need to create if you create a little bit of depth and Keith improves his goaltending, you'd both be a pain in the ass. I wouldn't want to play either one of you in round 1, that's for sure.
Well, and I think that's probably a good analogy, but on the same token, when you're still looking at the weeks that Renee's putting up 50 fucking points.
Oh, don't worry about Renee.
For a team that's putting up 35, 40 points, that's a big climb.
All right, it's that time once again for Fancy Stats. This is the lady who knows what's really going down. She knows what's happening with each and every one of you. She's kind of like, she looks upon every team at all times, knowing what you're up to, and she figures out where you're going to end up. And she is always very, very reliable. Are you ready for some fancy stats, Dean? You moved up to 2nd last week. Do you think you could have taken over 1st?
No, I seen what Renee did, so I'll definitely be back, and I'll definitely stay in 2nd.
Keith, what about you? Are you expecting to get close into busting into the?
Absolutely not.
Not?
Fancy Stats. Believe in them.
Okay. She told me that I was just on the outside of the bubble looking in. All right. I better.
She told me that I'm below the bubble.
She did. I may have noticed that. But once again, in 5th spot is the Port Elgin Wolfpack. They are 71-39-10 for 152 points. So it just does kind of show you that last week was a bit of an anomaly for them. Wouldn't you agree, Dean?
Yeah, for sure. That's just one of those weeks that everybody has, and got to battle back next week.
Yeah, if you're 5th in the fancy stats and 5th in the Langway, there's something wrong.
Well, I thought about that too, like he's
He
got a good record,
he should be higher up. He should be higher up. He's
Yeah, he should be. He should be.
yeah,
but look what he's facing to climb though, right?
true.
As good as he's having a season,
True.
just it's that,
The
he's getting
top
beat.
four.
getting beat 4-3 regularly
Yeah,
when he's losing.
yeah, that's
Only when he's losing.
Yeah.
that's true. That's true.
So
But you know what? I think he's pretty much been in round 5th ever since I started him this year, which was around week 5 or something like that. But yeah, he's been consistent. And so the East Coast Brewers, they were higher once upon a time, but they are now consistently settled into 4th place at 87, 29, and 5 for 179 points, which is, it's a little bit more than 152 points. So there's another level right here where the East Coast Brewers just drew a line. Dean?
yep.
No.
Yeah, you know what? If his goaltending kind of sorts itself up, I really like his team. Like I said, we were talking about Carter Hart. He's cold like TK said. He could kill you. But if he gets hot, Keith and I both like him. So I think if his goaltending stays stable, I like it.
Well, I could see them stabilizing it because I know Giroux is starting to get really pissed off. You can see a lot of his frustration going on in Philadelphia right now. I mean, so far in the last 10 years, they've made the playoffs. Next year, not made the playoffs. Next year, made the playoffs. So they've alternated even in odd years of making and missing the playoffs. And they missed last year. And I think he's getting sick of the. I remember a time in the early 2000s where the Islanders were settled perfectly into mediocrity for always fighting for the 8th place. You know
Same
what I
with the
mean?
Leafs.
And they were never ever going to win, even if you made it. Like we got in a couple of times. Tampa beat us, destroyed us, and they won the cup that year in 2004. Buffalo destroyed us. They were in 1st place in the East that year. And so the years that we made the playoffs, we got destroyed in the 1st round anyway. So, but we could never get out of that mediocre spot. And that's kind of, you got to watch out for that.
Yeah, you don't want to get trapped in that because it's frustrating. You can sit there frozen for a while. So sometimes you gotta shake things up.
Yeah. And of course, Arcade dropped to 3rd last week. He remains in 3rd place at 88, 25 and 6 for 182 points. Keith.
I'm not sure he's not going to catch Rene. So his battle now is going to come down to him and Dean. And does Dean have enough to pull Rene in again? So, but that's the fancy stats aside, that's not going to determine the playoff rounds either.
Sure.
So Rene's got probably the easier schedule. And Dean and Ryan, again, they probably get the tougher schedule because in the same division as 4 or 5 pretty good teams.
Yeah.
There's the heavyweights of those 2 up top. And then, 3, 4, 5 is pretty good in our division. We can certainly beat them.
Well, you might be surprised to find out that they're right now, and don't forget, not last week, but the week before, Brewing Up Some Suds were in 2nd place. And right now, the Colwood Rangers at 96, 18 and 6 are at 198 points. That is a 16-point lead over them already in just a very short period of time. So I would say no to Ryan. I would say it's almost like a different level between 2 other teams. So you got Dean there for the week. He went 14-1, and which can only mean one thing for the Harrison Lakers at 105, 12 and 3 for 213 points. They went 15-0 this week, which would obviously have been Dean's loss at 213 points in 1st place. Harrison Lakers.
Unreal, eh?
Yeah, we're definitely chasing him, but I think like I said, I think you're going to see Ryan's fantasy stats climb here. I love his trades this past week. I think it
I do
changed
too.
the complexion of his team, especially Vasilevsky's a game changer after McDavid in a pool like this anyway. Like single players like that are game changers. Like Vasilevsky can now win him 2 stats
Oh, I know.
consistently on a weekly basis. So and then getting Makar, who I'm still kicking myself. I did make a play earlier on, but yeah, I love his moves. I think he's gonna be a big
Hey,
shake.
Defenseman.
Vasilevsky was keeping Steve in the
He
games
was.
too.
Yeah, he was. So it's
Like Steve's had some really low point total weeks with pitter patter, but Vasilevsky was guaranteeing 2 goals a week.
yeah,
Both games.
I think he makes a statement this week.
Yeah, he very well could, but he can only win
Well,
2
he's got to play
games.
you. He's got to play you with Markstrom.
Yeah.
Yeah, Markstrom Campbell combo has not sucked. That Vasilevsky trade it worked out really well.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so I guess now that we know where Fancy is lying and whatnot, it's time to go to pretenders or are you a pretender or are you a contender? But I couldn't find a team this week. It's really funny. It's on the verge of breaking loose, but right now nobody's outrageously out of place. Like if there's one team ahead of you that shouldn't be, it's only one team. You know what I mean? That like you're not. Oh,
I would point out that the Islanders are starting to become that contender. I see you're trying to sneak away there and pretend and see if anybody noticed, but that's quietly out there that he's trying to downplay. So yeah.
He's already said he's not willing to trade his first and his second, so he's not willing to improve.
He can still get creative and find ways to improve.
Yeah, I still might trade him if the trade's right.
I have a feeling that
Lafreniere stock is not worth the first overall pick. Just so you're aware of that, Terry.
Well, that's fine. I'm keeping him anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'm not trading Lafreniere, so I'm not. I know what
that you get to use.
He's been. You know what he's doing, right, Dean?
Oh yeah, I know.
Slowly wearing me down. He's working me like he doesn't want Lafreniere, but first he's gonna make sure I know how just crappy he kind of is now. So
you'll see
can't be worth that much. But you know what, TK, I'll help you out.
Yeah, you'll see a trade offer in your box.
No,
I'll give you a third to take him off your hands.
If you're in trade negotiations and it doesn't matter who, and his name comes up, you have to consider it.
I consider all options.
If you're looking for an option to say that I'm no longer a pretender, now I'm a contender.
Hey, you're looking at assets. You're looking at a guy who traded John Tavares.
As an Islander? Or as a Maple Leaf?
He's probably a Maple Leaf.
Yeah. Is that a surprise? I
wasn't going to give up on him until.
Well, okay, maybe the Islanders might be a bit of a contender in there. They are sitting in 6th place in the fancy stats right now.
Okay,
so
I was just going to ask. How far behind the number 5 are you?
And he's been banged up all year, don't forget, too. So
yeah.
6, should he be 6? Probably not. He should be higher.
Let's see, he has 71 wins. I think I have 67 or something like, or 68
so
wins or something like
in
that.
2 good weeks, you could be fucking 8 ahead of him.
Well, if I got lucky enough, but I'm playing.
If he continues to take hits.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Right? Oh yeah, I'm ready. Look, I made a big move tonight.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice quiet
back to him.
Yeah,
does he help you today? No. Does he help you in 3 weeks? Absolutely.
Well, actually, he might help me for the first week I can use him because he's that close to being back.
Okay, well,
So that would be all right. But if not, it was a risk I was willing to take. I wasn't expecting to go 2-0 this week, so I feel like I got a little bit of extra leeway. Like if I have a bad week this week, I'm not going to be out of it. But
Oh, you're
that
not
also
gonna have a
means
bad week.
that also means that Kucherov is that closer to coming back, and so if I could just hang in there just a little bit. So okay, we'll throw me into the contender category. I accept.
Well, all of a sudden Kucherov comes back. That's like making a big trade because you haven't had him really all year.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I had him 3 games? Got 4 points. Yeah, I miss him.
That's like making a big trade without even having to make one. So
not having Forsberg that long too kind of hurt. So
yeah, exactly.
Nice.
So
to
you
have
got the
him back.
horses. Your defense is good.
Yeah.
Like you're not. That's the early shitty start that sometimes you get it at the start, sometimes you get it in the middle, sometimes you get it at the end, and then in the playoffs you just go on a fucking tear.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Absolutely. Get her done. All right, so let's talk about the games of the week. We got some big ones coming up. We're going to talk about your game first, Keith. Macaulay Mustangs at 11-5-0 going up against Port Elgin Wolfpack. I think this is going to be a really interesting game, and Bo needs to win this game. Keith?
I'm going to do everything I can to beat him.
Yeah, it's a big game, eh?
And I got his first pick, and I'm thinking, these are games that I can't lose.
Right. Yeah,
right?
It's a big game for you.
Yep. And I
it's a
think
big game for him too.
I have the guns to go and give him a run. And like penalty minutes, I seem to be increasing those weekly. So what I've been doing with my tinkering and stuff, it's been helpful. And I think that we're in the same goal scoring tier, pretty like for points and stuff.
Yeah.
So it just comes down to the goaltending. And sadly, I lost Wayman, so now I have to count on Koskinen and. I just need one stat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
that's a good way to look at it. Just steal one stat.
Yeah, that's always the way I look at it when I'm down to one goaltender too. If I can just take one of the stats,
right? Just win save percentage.
Yeah,
one
of
them.
Do
that. And you know how it is. Even good goaltending, like Renee had a bad week, I believe, in goaltending this week. I don't think it was like his normal standard. I think it's 3 points or something. Or
no, I think.
Or was that somebody else?
I think that was somebody else.
Might have been somebody else that was normally doing really good.
Maybe you're right. Let's see. He had 10 points.
Oh yeah, forget it. Completely off on that one. So yeah, I would say I'd say it's both for Biggie or big for both of you. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that statement for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so we need to see if Co-Commish RK can pick himself and dust himself off. He's going in at 11-4-1 against Sealand at 11-5-0. So basically, this game for Sealand means that they can hop right over the Bruins for second place. Dean.
Yeah, I think this is a huge week for Ryan. He want to lose a couple of games this week. So with the trades he's made, I think he makes a statement. But that being said, he had a lot of gunners going tonight. I didn't. He's up 6-1, but it's a lot closer than what the score shows. So I'm happy with the start of the week so far. At least stayed close on his first big day.
Yeah. I would definitely say so. And of course, I kept the biggest for the last. Obviously, Dean, that's you. The Colwood Rangers 13-3 going up against brewing up some suds 11-4-1. If you want to hang on to first place, you got to take care of business.
Yeah, it's definitely a big week for sure. It's bragging rights and first place, so it's a big week for sure.
Did you count how many goalie starts each one of you gets?
I didn't look at that. I was looking more at man games. I'm down on man games, and so I'm gonna have to have some guys probably have some big weeks just to keep up.
Okay, yeah, because the man games do play a part.
Yeah, they do.
We all know that.
He's got a lot of guys with 4 games this week.
Yeah, fuck. There's one team who's got 5.
Yeah, Anaheim plays 5 this week.
5. Yeah, they're gonna be tired.
Yeah. Yeah, plus minus might get ugly in the end.
Yeah.
Those 5-game weeks are so rare.
Yeah.
They can be a
Yeah.
boomer bust in fantasy though for
Yeah.
those guys.
I'd rather have one of those in the playoffs.
Well, look at fucking Sonny Milano finally seems to break out now. You know, when you consider he was drafted quite a while ago, and him and Zegras are just fucking, that chemistry is just exploding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like there's an up and coming twosome that people got to take notice, because I don't think Getzlaff will be there next year. So these guys will become the number one gunners there, and it's good for hockey, right?
Yeah.
Drysdale in the back end. That team's on the rise.
Yeah.
So are we going to see you still on top of the standings, Dean, at the end of this week?
Well, it's going to be a grind this week. I don't know. I would love to stay on top.
He's got all his boys going. He got all the guys he traded for.
Both of them do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see the trade with the Bruins that I approved just before the
I
podcast?
did. Yeah, he picked up Oshie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he's hey.
That's a good pickup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's trying to saw off Carlson is what he's trying to do.
Yeah, he's trying to find a way to solve Carlson. I know.
I've had Oshie a lot. He's always paid dividends for me.
Absolutely.
Always.
Yeah. I think a couple of years in the West Coast, I had him, and I was in the finals every year.
Yeah.
I just didn't have enough to win them, and you know, I found ways to lose. But yeah, I had him, and I agree, Terry. 30 goals.
He's a great fantasy player. I love having him. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see the Canucks under Bujo 4-0 tonight?
They won or lost?
They're up.
Won or lost?
They're up 4-0.
Oh, wow. Let's put that one on.
You've got Patterson playing with Podkolzin.
Yeah.
Well, boys, I think we're just about to wrap this one up here. You got any final thoughts before we go, Dean?
Just
tell us a little bit about
Dan and Bo. You know, there's a couple trades to be made out there, so yeah, reach out.
Before you go, tell us a little bit about your victory last year, how that felt and how that kind of went down a little bit.
You know what? I actually had liked my team for the most part, the way it was built, but I wasn't sure. COVID was, you know, you had to get a little bit lucky too in the playoffs. Let's face it, with COVID and everything too, you just had to hope to stay healthy. And I guess maybe because I got beat up so bad early, I think I got healthy at the right time and just went on a run and just, the timing was good, I think, for me last year.
There's so many things that factor in on a fantasy win. Wouldn't you agree? Like there's so many factors. It's like luck. It's like, do I have a heavy laden schedule this week and who I'm playing doesn't, and who they got injured. And so even when you think like Renee's unbeatable to some teams, it's just the right week. All it takes is the right week in fantasy hockey.
The nice thing is, because playoffs are 2 weeks, right?
Yep.
So that usually indicates who the better team is. Over 1 week,
however,
1 week anybody can beat anybody, but like you say, one hot week and
a shit kicking week can win you the entire series.
It sure can.
Yes.
Very, very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
So you can't get the crap beat out of you if you want to.
That's right.
Come back.
You got to at least be somewhat close.
Yeah. Yeah. So what about you, Keith? Anything else?
Well, I think it's going to be exciting. I mean, obviously some of the trades that have come in and bettered the tier teams up top. For those of us in that second tier, who's got the balls and who's got the assets, and you know, or do people...
I'm the last player to make a move, so I guess I got the ball.
You got the back. You got the back.
So I'm in the lead for now. It's up to you to counter, Keith.
Yeah, well,
See what you got.
you know what is really good is that there's teams that no matter how powerful Renee started the season, have said, no, you know what?
Yeah,
there's enough that I can trade for to catch them.
Super impressed. I'm really impressed about that. Like you can see, like, I'm sure a lot, we're not everybody probably felt the same way when they saw that trade. It's like, oh man, how can we beat this guy's team, man? It's just incredible. But yeah, I've been super impressed how everybody's taken off to get better, stronger. But you don't have to match them because, like we said, you catch the right week and everything like that. You just got to get up there a little bit close to them, and if you can do that, you can pull it off.
Yeah, yeah. Anytime somebody beats one of the top 4 or 5 teams in the league, those are stealing wins, right? And then that's to me, that's also what separates the top 1 through 4 or 5, right?
Yeah.
Because they take a loss. Instead of going 2-0, they went 1-1. All the 2-0 teams that are up top just jump up, right?
Oh yeah.
So there's going to be lots of movement in the standings, but I'm going to honestly tell you that I think Rene pulls away.
Yeah, well, he has probably the best odds of being most consistent because he's so deep. Like, so I mean, he lost Rantanen and guys like that, and it didn't really. No big deal,
they come
right?
back and they put up 8 points.
Yeah, I know, and they make up for it because Buddy, who made up for it while he was gone, is in a little mini slump. Yeah, Kadri.
He lights it up. Now he's hurt.
I wanted him in the draft this year.
He's in a contract year, right? So he's got to have a big year.
Yeah.
Well, he's having it.
From his last interview, it didn't sound like he was missing Toronto that much.
But he's back in the lineup tonight.
Oh, is he?
Kadri's back playing tonight. So only missed
he got some points tonight, I think. They got 7 goals.
Yeah, he's probably in on something.
Yeah, he's looking pretty good. Anyway, guys, I think we're just going to leave it at that. It's been a good podcast. Unless there's anything anybody else wants to jump in and say anything, I think that's pretty much it for now. Y'all good, Keith?
You betcha.
Dean?
I'm good, buddy.
All right. I want to thank you guys both for coming on tonight. It's been a blast. It's always a lot of fun when we get together and shoot the shit. And hopefully we get some more trading going on, and the chasing of Rene continues, and we shall all do our very best. So anyway, you guys all out there, take care and peace out.